There are 15 reports in the Balance 5.0 biosurvey. We covered the main report, which is called the Wellness Report, in a previous video. So in this video, we're going to briefly explain the other 14 reports available to you. After you run the scan and this Wellness Report generates, you can just come up here and click the Select Report tab to change the report. All right, let's go ahead and select this Advanced Report plus Teeth. This includes everything in the standard report plus more, so we'll just skip that standard report. Like many ZYTO reports, this one starts by showing the dynamic profile, followed by the top products that bring the out-of-range biomarkers back into range. Then we also have a breakdown of all the organ biomarker responses, vertebrae, and the teeth, followed by the TCM meridians. Now, in the ZYTO software, we also have a Vectors tab, which shows the energetic connections between the organs, vertebrae, teeth, and TCM meridians, as well as the emotions. But you could come in here and say, okay, coccyx is really out of range. I wonder what that's connected to. So in this Vectors tab, we click on coccyx, and we can see that it has an energetic connection to the large intestine and urinary bladder. And then the forefront teeth, top and bottom, and then the triple warmer and large intestine meridian as well. So we could then go back to the report and say, all right, are any of these out of range as well? And we can see that, yes, half of those teeth are out of range. Those organs are actually in range, but the large intestine meridian is out of range. Basically, this helps you see that, okay, maybe the person is not necessarily having an issue with the coccyx, but maybe they do in these front teeth, or perhaps it's a large intestine issue that's causing that to show up. Okay, going back to the report, the next section here is the top services, and the last one is the biomarker progress chart. This chart is super helpful because it lets you see the specific biomarkers that were brought into range with each product. The first column shows all the out-of-range biomarkers, and in the second column, we can scroll down, and the ones that don't have a specific number are the ones this specific product, the shepherd's purse, brought into range. So, ashamed, T12 vertebra, and so on. Now, along with helping you see which products brought a specific biomarker into range, this chart is helpful to see what we call stubborn biomarkers. These are the ones that took the most products to bring back into range. So, the coccyx here, you can see that it took 7 different items to bring that into range. Stomach and antibiotics took 6 products, and so on. These are the areas that you can dig into deeper and ask the client about. Maybe the client has some pain there, or maybe something connected to the coccyx that's out of whack energetically. And then we have stomach and antibiotics. Not hard to see how those are related. So this is really a super helpful chart for finding what the body may be really struggling with to keep in balance. The next report is top products by category, which just takes those top products in each category from the wellness report and displays them so you can easily see what those are without a lot of scrolling. Next are the vector reports. We talked about the Vectors tab, but the nice thing about these reports is that they do all that vectoring work for you. So you don't have to go back and forth between the Vectors tab and the report to see those vectored connections. Okay, I'll pull up the emotions vector report to show this. And you can see when we scroll down past the out-of-range responses, it then breaks down the top 5 and shows what they're energetically connected to. Now, each of these has a lot of connected areas that are also out of range, so that gives you even more insight. You can see here, for example, that ashamed is the most out of range, and this emotion actually has an energetic connection to the coccyx. So again, maybe it's an issue with feeling ashamed about something that's causing the coccyx to show up as out of range, or vice versa. Maybe an issue with the coccyx is causing that emotion to be out of range, or maybe it's in any of these other areas which is causing that whole circuit to have some issues. You can see how valuable these reports can be. All right, moving on, we have the reports that are more of the comprehensive lists. So services shows the response to each service that was scanned from most to least coherent. Then we have all stressors by category, which is a categorized list of all the stressor responses, as you can see. Then we have reports that show how the body responded to each product virtual item that was scanned. So A to Z list, and then a list from most to least coherent. To close out this video, I'll share a real-life scanning experience to illustrate the power of the ZYTO reports. We scanned a chiropractor at this trade show, and this guy was in very good shape. And you could tell he worked out and had a very low body fat percentage. He sat down, and after completing the scan, it found that the top 3 products that his body had the highest coherent response to were all for blood sugar handling. And this guy said, "Well, I don't have problems with blood sugar. That's never been an issue for me. So I'm not sure why those products have appeared at the top of this list." And then our representative that was there started to ask a couple of questions. And one of the questions was, "What did you eat for lunch today?" And he got this big grin on his face and said, "Well, I just ate 2 brownies and a Coke." Yeah. So in this real-time scenario, his body may have been having a difficult time processing the sugar. It's not something that he would normally eat, so by asking an additional question, we were able to learn more and suggest that this was likely an acute response to what he just ate. Again, that's what these reports are really about. It's giving you the data points to help you ask better, more individualized questions to reveal information. Now, in real time, our body deals with both acute issues and chronic issues. And the ZYTO scan gathers information about the body that can be used to help you better understand your client's situation. And the more data points that you have about a particular area of the body, the stronger the indication that the body may be dealing with something that's chronic versus something that's acute. And so, by taking that data in and asking some additional questions, you'll now have a better idea of what might be chronic and what might be acute for that person. That's the nice thing about this All Products by DR report, that it gives you an opportunity to look at all those virtual items and see whether there are multiple products that address a similar issue. So in this case, there are several products in the top 10 to 15 that are used for inflammation. And you may only need one of those products to take care of that. And really, what this can do is help you to avoid redundancy as far as only recommending one product for inflammation rather than 3 or 4. So you can instead recommend this top product for inflammation and then find another product with a similarly high DR value that covers something else, like supporting detoxification. Now with this report, anything that has a positive DR value going down to 0 is something you could consider recommending. But anything with a negative value is something that you would want to avoid recommending. And that's all for the additional reports in the Balanced Biosurvey. We hope this demonstration has been helpful. And if you want more information on understanding ZYTO reports, you can visit our webpage at zyto.com/understanding ZYTO reports.